Hello and welcome. Well, this morning I've come out and I'm just going to talk about how to have a successful stealth camp. You know, we all love stealth camping, but there's a few things you can do to guarantee you have a successful night. So I'm just going to talk about a few things, talk about some of the kit I'm going to bring in my next stealth camps, which will hopefully help you with your next stealth camp, maybe even the February Stealth Camp Alliance Challenge. So the first thing for a successful stealth camp is to make sure you've got the right gear. I mean, I try to stay as minimal as possible, obviously as lightweight as possible. I don't want to be carrying so many things, but it really depends on where you are in the world, doesn't it? If in the summer you don't need much kit, in the winter you've got to carry everything, you know, heavy sleeping bag, all that sort of stuff. So it really depends where you're going to do your stealth camp, but you need to have the right gear for where you're going. Now I'm trying to slim down my kit, so as I've been doing this, well, for 2 years now, just about, I've managed to get some better kit than what I started with. So if you are a seasoned stealth camper, you probably already got your kit sorted and you're refining your kit, getting it lighter. If you're just starting off as a stealth camper, you'll need to buy some cheaper kit like I did, which may be a little bit heavier and maybe not quite as good quality, but you know, that's probably the best way to go, because you don't know if you're going to enjoy stealth camping when you start off. So you need to take the right gear for the right conditions, and also a little bit extra just in case the weather changes drastically worse than you expected. So you always need to be over prepared rather than under prepared. Here in the UK we have cooler winters. You can see I put this on here because there's a cool breeze blowing behind me here, freezing my ears. So that's why I've got this down jacket with a hood, which is really lightweight and really helpful. My stealth camping gear has been trimmed down. For my more stealthy trips, these are the three things I take. Currently I take a winter sleeping bag, which is a down sleeping bag, which is light, but it lofts up so it's nice and warm. I take a Bivvy bag, which has got a net in it, so I can also use it in the summer, and that keeps me dry, keeps the sleeping bag dry and sort of out of the wind a little bit. I also take my new sleeping mat. So those are my three main items: sleeping bag, sleeping mat and Bivvy bag. And then in addition, I am also taking a small lightweight tarp, and I'll show you all these items in a moment. But some of these items are quite expensive, I appreciate that, and I've saved up over the last 2 years to get these items, which will make my stealth camps a little bit easier. And these three items, basically, I think together they weigh about, I don't know, 2.5 kilograms, something like that. So with my backpack and with food, my backpack can be about 5 kilograms, and it won't weigh me down too much when I'm walking to the stealth camps. I've also chosen this setup because I can be very low on the ground. I can hide behind a wall, hide behind a bush. Very, very stealthy indeed, because it's flat on the ground, a low tarp just keeps the rain off, and I can be behind bushes like these. Nobody's going to see me here, especially amongst thick grass, especially when it's going dark. If you haven't got a Bivvy bag, or you're looking at doing new stealth camps, a lot of people recommend the Alpkit Bivvy bag. I'll put a link below. There's also some cheaper mats like the Trekology UL80, but it doesn't have any insulation, so you need to have an insulation pad. But there are cheaper ways of doing this, and I've used cheaper kit on stealth camps. But in the winter, and depending on your climate, you may need to have some better gear. A good suggestion is to test all your gear in the garden first. What I'm going to do is I'll show you my gear set up in the garden and just show you what it's going to look like. So next tips on how to have a successful stealth camp is you really need to find a safe place, a place that you're comfortable with. Look for an area away from public footpaths that are hidden. In the UK you can find public footpaths pretty much all over the place, especially have an Ordnance Survey map, and you can walk a public footpath and then just sneak away slightly into a bush and you'll be fine. I guarantee you could go almost anywhere and you'd find somewhere to stealth camp. Basically with stealth camping it means hidden, doesn't it? So out of sight, out of mind. Maybe use an alcohol stove, not a gas stove, if there are going to be people sort of in the area that can't see you but they might hear you. You know, some of the gas stoves are so loud it sounds like an airplane taking off. So that's why I use the trangier, because the trangier is silent. Gives some light in the dark but it's silent, people can't hear you. If you can, walk to your spot rather than go in a car, and if you do park your car, park it in some place where it remains not conspicuous, so it's not just one car on its own. Try and go somewhere where the car is either with a group of cars and people aren't going to notice there's an extra car there, because it can give away your location. Check for any hostile signs. You know, avoid areas where they have clear signs saying no camping, no trespassing, things like that. Probably best to stay away. Look out for any animal tracks that might pass through where you're going to camp. Sometimes it could be a deer path or other animals. Use that as a route. Don't camp near a water source where animals congregate at night. I found that out one night when I camped on the South Downs Way, and in the middle of the night my tent was surrounded by wild deer. I didn't know what it was outside my tent. If you're seen by anyone when you're setting up, then you may, depending on where you are, you may just choose to leave. Like I like to be somewhere where nobody knows where I am. Obviously I let loved ones know where I am, but otherwise if I'm seen, then I'll probably, you know, I'll think about whether I should pack up and go somewhere else. Depends on the situation, but to be totally stealthy means totally hidden. Nobody's seen you and you are invisible. It's always best to set up in the dark or when it's almost dark. The earlier you set up, the more chance you're going to be given away. More chance there's dog walkers, more chance people are going to stumble upon your camp. So set up in the dark or just before the dark, and leave in the morning before it gets too light and before all the dog walkers come out. When you do your camp, you have to continually assess the situation. You have to keep your ears open, keep looking just to make sure everything's safe and as it should be. There are many things to consider depending on different locations. I can't cover everything, can I, in one video, but in particular if you go into a woodland, obviously look out for overhanging branches that may be unsafe, old trees, rotten trees, branches that may fall down in the middle of the night, because people do get injured and killed by trees that fall in the middle of the night. And also, especially when it's windy, avoid woodlands in the wind. Blend into your surroundings at all times. You know, probably best not to walk around residential areas dressed out in camo, but then when you get in the woodland, maybe put the camo on, so that way you're blending into the environment where you are. Give a trusted family member your location where you're going, so they know if anything goes wrong. Make sure you have your phone charger fully charged and have a signal. If not, you'll need a GPS maybe for emergencies if you're going really into the wilds. If you are going sort of wild camping in the mountains, things like that, you'll need to consider other things like taking Ordnance Survey maps, knowing how you can get down from where you're camping in the fog if the weather changes, all that sort of stuff. A lot of this is common sense, but then again, if it's in a location and a type of location you're not familiar with, it will all be new to you. All this can sound a bit scary, can't it? Put you off. And probably if I knew all this on my first stealth camp, I probably wouldn't have gone. But because I just faced it. Now these things aren't that scary to me because I've got experience. But I'm still learning. I'm still relatively new to this. A lot of you have been camping far more than me, so you know far more than me. So please share some more helpful tips in the comments. that would be really helpful for people. I hope you can join the February Stealth Camping Alliance challenge, but don't do anything crazy. You know, the challenge is to walk for 2 hours north from your house and do a stealth camp. I know that's not easy for some people, especially if they live on the beach and they'd have to walk into the sea. So use your common sense, adapt it accordingly. 2 hours, but you don't have to walk the whole 2 hours if you don't feel comfortable with that. I mean, within 2 hours, but obviously do it safely. Don't take any crazy risks. The Stealth Camping Alliance obviously cannot take any liability for what happens to you. This is, everybody is going to make their own assessments and all the rest of it. Make sure you're prepared. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the February entries in a couple of weeks, and looking forward to sharing more stealth camps with you and seeing your adventures. So thanks for watching this one. I hope it helps. I hope it's a refresher, and if it's new, I really hope it does help you go on your first stealth camp. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.